serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey, folks, and welcome to episode number 101.
Woohoo! Over 100.
We're 101. This is podcasting 101 right here. The Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of February 25th through March 3rd, 2019. My name is Tim Beeman.
And my name is Ray Morgan.
And we're opening the recipe box. We're recording this episode of The Man Who Ate the Town at the Lab at Industry Hill. Is a repurposed building on North Chestnut Street in the old warehouse district of downtown Winston-Salem, what we now call Industry Hill. Our building here houses a custom furniture company, a cool upholsterer that creates things you'll see all over town, a manufacturer of fine cloth denim totes, purses, and bags, a screen printer is coming now, and a sound production, and the less desirables, Man Who Ate the Town, all the TLD network.
Along with the Podfather.
The Podfather. I said that on less desirables and this past Wednesday, and I thought Danielle was going to fall out of her seat. So whenever our friend Stallone made that today, I made sure to send it to them, and they thought it was great.
He did a great job with that logo.
So first, I have an email. Someone wrote us.
An actual email?
An actual email.
To the Man Who Ate the Town?
Yes.
Oh,
this is
pray
from
tell.
Tim Blankenbaker.
Okay, I do not know Tim Blankenbaker.
I do not either, that I know of, but they listen, and I like that they listen.
We love that.
So he says, "Hey Tim, enjoying the podcast. Adding Ray has been a real positive."
Oh, well, that's good
and
to
I
hear.
say, who? No, I didn't say that. No, I'm itching to check out Uncle Buzzy's after this week's show. Wanted to send you a quick note in case you wanted to mention this on your site or on the podcast. So his Boy Scout Troop 715 at New Philadelphia Moravian has been doing an annual BBQ fundraiser for more than 30 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
It's
that's
cooked
great.
by a local competition team, and he can attest that it's not only good barbecue, but it's a great value that supports a great cause. So it's smoked pork barbecue, New Philadelphia Moravian Church, benefits Troop 715. Starts on Saturday, March the 2nd, from 4:30 to 7. It's all you can eat. Adults, $10 a plate. Children,
can eat?
All you can keep down for $10.
Wow.
Children 7 to 12 is $4 per plate. Children 6 and younger eat free.
They will figure something else when I show up.
Take out.
You get one plate. Just one for you.
You'll come here no longer. The takeout is $10 per plate, and that's a single portion barbecue beans and slaw. 1 pound of beans and slaw is $1.50, and 1 pound of barbecue is $10.
Wow.
So the menu also includes barbecue slaw, pinto beans, and a roll.
See, they're over off of Country Club near the Gordon Manor area.
Okay, I'm not familiar with churches and Boy Scout troops around town, but
Well, I know where New Philadelphia Moravian is. That's over off Country Club.
all right. I'm trying to
It's a
figure out.
beautiful building, actually.
Yeah, so I guess they're doing it there because there's no.
I would imagine they would do
Address.
it there. It's a very large church. They've got plenty of room to have a big crowd.
Okay. Well, I would say look up the New Philadelphia Moravian Church online. I'm sure they would mention something there. Right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
So-
we also know it's this coming Saturday.
Yes. Yes.
For those who are listening later in the week, it's still coming up on Saturday.
Yes. That's why we record this on Monday, so you have all week to plan.
And we told you the date. It was the 2nd,
That's right.
4 to 7. It's a
So
great deal.
we have.
Thanks,
a guest.
Tim.
Thank you, Tim. We have a guest today.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about
Very
that in
excited.
a second. But you have some exciting news that we alluded to
man.
last week.
I've had to sit on this for a week. It's when you get some good news, you kind of want to tell people.
Yeah.
But no, for all sorts of reasons, including I'd have my hand smacked, I had kept my mouth shut. but had a great conversation last week with Zeb Williams, the current owner of the Old Nick Williams Farm and Distillery. And they are going to be featured on a brand new series on the Discovery Channel. The same guy, Tim Smith, a lot of Tims happening today. Tim Smith, who started the Moonshiners series on the Discovery Channel, is going to have a new show called Moonshiners Whiskey Business. And it's kind of one, you've seen those restaurant rescue kind of shows. Mm-hmm. It's the same sort of concept where Tim is coming in and helping distilleries that are struggling with whatever issues they're struggling with. For Old Nick, they felt like identity and branding was really their biggest issue. They've completely redone their taste room, doubled the size of it, because there was no room when a large group of people would show up for folks to actually stand around. Now there's plenty of room. The Discovery Channel brought people in, experts on bourbon, experts on history of the bourbon, and so they're reviewing. They've got all this paperwork going back 250 years. And these experts are looking through it going, oh, look, you were sending your whiskey from here to this guy who was sending it to Jamaica. And do you know this guy was a bigwig in the industry, 200 years ago?
I forget which president it was, but they actually had sent casks every year to every inauguration for so many years to the president. And so they called it the presidential.
It's really exciting to hear the backstory and the history of this distillery. Prohibition in North Carolina started before it did on a national level. It started here in 1909, where it was 1920 on the national level. So his great-great-grandfather that passed away, that was running the place at that time, he died in 1913, and then 7 years national prohibition kicked in, and that kind of just killed the business until recently. And Zeb was talking about how he had grown up always hearing this family history. They still live on the same farm. Mm-hmm. They had 8,000 acres at one point. Now it's down to, I think, 600.
Only
600 acres. Yeah, the family's still there. Each one of them has their own little plot on top of the farm, and it's just really exciting to see what they've done, how far they've come in a very short period of time, and to have the Discovery Channel come in and say, hey, we'd like to help you out. March 13th at 10 o'clock, tune into the Discovery Channel and you'll see one of our very own. They also worked with the Broad Branch Distillery downtown in Industry Hill.
Yes.
So I didn't have a chance to have that conversation as well. I just talked with Zeb.
Yeah.
But I do know that it's going to be our two locals that are going to be featured in that show. So it's very exciting. But the Discovery's Channel said, we're doing our own promotion right now. We'd like for you to wait until today to be able to say anything. So
here we are.
Set your DVRs.
And sit-ups. Old Nick Williams was the first guests on Sipping NC, the Art of Drinking podcast, whenever I was doing that. So our very first show, episode 1 from 2016, I think it was, maybe 17.
Mm-hmm.
But they were episode number 1.
That's cool.
So
that's cool.
And it was a fascinating story, and I'm sure they'll recapture a lot of that for this, but it was a fascinating story.
Well, and they've got some really interesting things coming up. They're creating a Jamaican rum. It's the way he said it is, this is our interpretation of a Jamaican rum. He and his wife are going to Jamaica a couple times every year and really learning what they can about the rum industry there and what's happening. So they're bringing that back, and they're excited to have this, a brand new product line for them. They're hoping actually to be able to sell some of it in Jamaica. They're also working with some folks from NC State that are trying to figure out how to get a barrel instead of 2 years of aging to do it in like a couple of weeks. It's pretty exciting.
I know
talking about it.
someone that I talked to was working on a way of aging rum. Rum would be the easiest one to do because it's basically sugar. But to get it to mature quicker. Yeah.
And they're talking about doing that with their other product as well, but they will always specify this was the one that sat in the barrel for 2 years, and here's our rapid aged.
Yeah.
So that folks understand that there is a difference. But he says, this gives us a chance to expand our product line. And they were the very first ones to sign on to this. So the fact they get to be really on the cutting edge of what's happening with that, it's pretty exciting as well. Some really fun stuff happening right here in the Triad.
I want to clarify the address for the New Philadelphia Moravian Church is 4440 Country Club Road, and that is where they are holding the barbecue.
Good deal.
So, go have some barbecue. Go visit Old Nick Williams. Go visit Broad Branch, and know that they're going to be on television.
It's pretty cool.
So Uncle Desi's may not be a brick and mortar store any longer, but he is doing catering and phone orders according to the Uncle Desi's Facebook page. Desmond said he's also selling his sauces and seasonings via his webpage, which at the time I compiled this, which was this morning, was down for maintenance. So, but he said it would be later today. So we're going with that. But for more info or ordering, try jerkkingchicken.com or 336-816-6438. So it'll be catering of any kind. You can order food out. There's just not a store. I don't know how that's working, but we're hoping to talk to him about it. He has a good reputation for Caribbean Jamaican cuisine, but I believe he was up on Indiana Avenue, and no one wanted to go there. So I have to say I've never been there.
It's close to where I live.
So let's say that we're going to try to get him in here to talk about this.
We'd love to have him.
All right, so now it's time for Getting in Your Business.
Yes, with our very special guest.
Yes. So, Ray, this is your guest, so we're going to let you introduce him.
Oh, well, I'm just excited to have Brandon Cassidy here, owner and proprietor of Food Freaks, the food truck. Personally, I think the very best hamburgers in town. That's just my opinion, but I'm going to stand by it, and I'll fight you over it if I need to. I've known Brandon for a long time now, 15, 20 years, something like that.
Yep.
Back when you were still working for Brookstone College.
Yep.
That takes us back.
Education. Yep. Long time. Feeling younger by the minute.
I remember you talking to me about the food truck even back then. Mm-hmm. This has been a dream of yours for a long time.
It has been. As a matter of fact, my wife and I have been married for 15 years. And on our wedding video that we watched again at the end of our wedding video, they asked us, where do you see yourself in 10 years? This was 15 years ago. And my wife said, I see my husband hopefully on his own restaurant or cooking because that's his passion. And that's on video 15 years ago. And after we were married for 10 years, I started the food truck.
Nice.
Yep.
You had to give it a little time for her to get used to it, right?
She's still not used to it.
Okay. So you've been running Food Freaks then for about 5 years now.
This is my 6th year in business. Food Freaks of NC Food Truck. Yep.
What's that journey been like for you?
We only got 10 minutes, not 5 hours.
What's the short version of it?
Memorable, trying, challenging, rewarding, tough. It's been an experience. Yeah.
Is this what you envisioned when you thought, I'm going to have a truck?
No. You know, you when you have a goal or a dream, one of the things that the goal or dreams fail to bring to light is all the challenges you'll face by trying to achieve that goal or dream. And I think it's funny now today, I see people come up to my food truck and go, oh, I thought about doing this when I retire. And I just look at them and laugh. And I think, well, if 16-hour days is your version of retirement, go for it.
Because you'll go between 2 or 3 different locations in a day sometimes.
2 locations a day is what I max myself out at in order to be able to travel to the places, to your commissary and back home. So it's a lot.
Yeah. Where is your commissary?
It's at Tanglewood Pizza.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they, I'm there midnight or later, so I don't. It's a ghost town when I show up most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the commissary role is a whole nother beast. But yeah, that's where we go. Yeah. Got to make everybody happy.
Yes. There's conversations about trying to create a central place for trucks to be able to have a good commissary.
There is actually a conversation about not even having to have a commissary in North Carolina.
Really?
Yes. Back in December, I think it was last year. I think eventually it's going to happen where if your food truck is able to store properly your merchandise and dry product, and it is equipped enough that you don't, because these commissaries, the main thing you need them for is to dump your gray water, get your fresh water, and you have to dump your gray water in their outside mop station so that it runs through a grease trap.
Right.
And then if you have old grease, they have places you can dump the old grease. They get paid for that. The restaurant does. Mm-hmm. And then some of the food trucks store there and prep there. I fortunately do not do that. The health department and they agree that I have enough for what I do. My menu's simple, so I'm not serving any poultry or fish or anything like that. So I have ample space to prep and store on my truck. So my commissary is a pretty quick stop. I empty out I have a big long hose attached to my gray water tank. I dump it. I put some fresh water in, and if I have any old oil or trash, I dump in their trash and dump old oil. But there's been some conversation about that going away. Some states are already a non-commissary state, such as Florida. And what that would entail is food trucks going to dumping stations to where, you can, there'd be a list of restaurants, 30 restaurants. And these 30 restaurants have agreed to allow any food truck to show up, dump, as long as you don't go in the premises. Be done all on the outside and you're in and out and gone. And I think that would help, if I'm up somewhere in Greensboro, I don't have to leave Greensboro and stop off the interstate. I could find a dumping station right there in Greensboro when I'm done, get all my stuff out of the way, dump my trash, gray water, and move on.
It doesn't really take away from the business of the dump station.
No.
And they could probably would have to charge like a little convenience fee or something. So
maybe, or they may be able to get paid for it like they do for the oil.
Yeah.
They get paid for that anyway. So if they sign up as a dump station, maybe they get an incentive. Hey, you get $50 a month if you're a dump station or something like that.
Yeah.
Just something to make it. But, there are some food trucks that prep, store, and do everything at their commissary. Then they load all this food up into a food truck and go out and serve it. And if that's convenient for them, great. But that's we're fresh, cooked to order.
Yeah.
So we don't par cook or pre-cook a bunch of stuff and just have it sitting on warmers. We're cooking it as you order it.
So what is gray water?
Your wastewater, basically. We wash dishes on the truck.
Okay.
So we have a wash, rinse, sanitize sink, and then when you let all that water out, it goes into a holding tank.
Sure.
And then you tackle onto the holding tank and brush it through a mop sink so there's a grease trap.
Okay. So, food freaks. It's burgers mostly, right?
It's craft burgers, yep.
And tell us about some of the burgers. We both, Ray and I, Ray many times, but I have several times had food from your truck. So, for the listeners who may not know, tell us about.
If they don't know, they're so far behind. They need to get on.
I started a long time ago before even Food Freaks was around. I used to go to tailgating parties and things of such, and I cooked for friends and stuff, and I used to stuff my burgers. A lot of my friends call them inside out burgers, whatever you want to call them. Everybody has a unique name for them. But I would literally take the beef and I would stuff it and then close it up and grill it. Now, to do it on a level that I do it, to produce that in a high volume setting every day,
On demand.
On demand, and to do that and actually put it inside the beef is really tough to do. So what we did is we came up all these stuffing mixes that we do on our burgers. We actually grill the burger, and we put all these stuffing mixes on there while we're grilling it for food safety, and for prep reasons. So, but yeah, I mean, I think one of the burger that put me on, two burgers that put me on the map were the Godfather and the Elvis. And the Godfather is fresh mozzarella, or my grandmother would say mozzarella because she's Italian, pepperoni, and hard salami, and we put that in the burger or on top of the burger if it's a single patty, in between two patties if it's a double patty, and we make a homemade garlic basil pesto sauce that has got pine nuts, basil, olive oil. We put some ingredients in there, we mix it up, a little bit of mayo, give it kind of a creamy flavor. And then the Elvis burger is, I got people from Charlotte that'll drive an hour and a half.
Would that happen to be peanut butter and banana?
Yes, there would be. We take some Granny Smith apples, which we also use in our apple rings. So I've tried to find a way to cross-use inventory.
Right.
And we glaze those apples in a bourbon sauce that we make on the truck. And then we make a homemade bacon jam. And we put bacon jam, the bourbon glazed apples, cheddar cheese. And we do make a homemade peanut butter chutney, banana chutney. We basically just start with ripe bananas. We use store-bought peanut butter, and then we add a couple other seasonings to it, and that goes on the bun. And so I've had people drive an hour and a half for that burger. Our followers are fantastic. I love burgers, but I'm not driving an hour and a half for one. Yeah. And to see these people do it, it's amazing.
It's got to make you feel good about what you're doing.
It does now. It's been a long road. I actually started the food truck without a name, without a title, without a menu. I just started out at Lexington Flea Market, and I was cooking hot dogs, burgers with lettuce and tomato, which I don't do right now, obviously. And I was doing, maybe $100, $200 a day. I quit my full-time job in education. I literally remember nights of my wife and I sitting in the garage wondering what the heck we've done with 4 kids in the house and trying to figure out how we were going to feed them the next day. I mean, people laugh when I tell them that, but
feed them burgers.
Right. We had to feed them off the food truck. We would sit in the garage. I'm man enough to admit, we sit there and cry and be like, what are we doing? And when I had to find an identity, and one day I put the Godfather on the menu and I put the Elvis on the menu, my identity started that day because it was crazy after that.
Yeah. Well, that bacon jam in and of itself
is
an amazing creation.
Thank you.
So my son and I both make stuffed burgers at home.
Awesome.
And I know just for 4 burgers, because we each have 2 each we each have 2 when we're eating. The time that it takes us to stuff because we bought one of the things that you press it down, then you put the well in it and you stuff it, and then you put the top on it and then press it down again.
Yep.
Works out perfect. Right. But if you're trying to crank them out fast, that's that gets a no really quick, because then people start piling around the truck and they're like, well, I'll just go over here, this line's shorter.
Right. And we already have, in big events, we get big lines, big wait times, which is any truck. But when you're a cook to order truck, it becomes even more of a challenge. So we have a sandwich prep station, and it has all of our toppings already in there, all of them separated to keep the freshness. We're not mixing the bacon jam and the apples and all that together. We're putting them on the burger separately. Separation of flavors, and it makes it doable when you're in a high volume setting. So
yeah, I had that impression that Tim's having. That's what you have been doing, but then getting to watch you actually do that prep to say, oh, here's the patty with all those toppings on it, then you're grilling another one and putting that on top. So it's all together. Sandwiched is much more, is maybe a right term, than stuffed.
Right.
But you get the same stuffed effect.
Yeah. And we use the word stuffed as in, like it's stuffed. Wow, that's a lot of stuff on there. That kind of.
So, but you're not did you say earlier, you're not a LTO place, not lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise type stuff?
We have it on our menu board. No lettuce, tomato, pickles, onions. We're not traditional. My belief is a food truck needs to be unique. One of the things about food trucks, what draws people to a food truck, is the fact that it's something you're normally not going to find. You can find lettuce, tomato, pickles, and onions anywhere.
Sure.
So, you know, we've caught a lot of flack over that. It's been a lot of lip over the years. You know, people look at us and go, how do you have a burger and not have one? Well, it's just not what we do.
Yeah.
When we had...
You're not opposed to them. You just don't have
Not
them
opposed to it. I like my own burger that way. But off of a food truck in a setting like this, my concept is, or my belief is, uniqueness is what's going to draw people, and we are definitely unique. You know, when you come and look at our menu and you look at some of these special burgers we put up there, I mean, we got one called the Blue Magoon. It's got vanilla pepper bacon jam and goat cheese and a homemade blueberry lime aioli sauce. I mean, it's crazy stuff that most people, you recognize what it says, but you think, I would have never put that on a burger, and then you try on the burger, you're like, whoa. You know, we've done all kinds of stuff. We've done pumpkin. We've done all kinds of stuff. So
that's 3 you've told us about. How many burgers are? First of all, is there a rotation, or is there? I mean, I'm sure you have your standards, but is there a rotation?
We have non-standard. I have a notebook that I've actually got over 50 burger types in there.
Yeah.
And we do rotate a new burger. We, you know, whatever I'm feeling that week. You know, someone said, when's this? Like, there's the ones called the Triple B. I get that. When's the Triple B going to be back? I'm like, whenever I feel like it. Not feeling it this week, you know. And that's got sriracha maple bacon jam, pepper jack cheese, and a homemade sriracha maple sauce. Wow. So it's a different kind of
maple
bacon jam is amazing. Yes, I agree. I could eat it by the bowl. But yeah, so I rotate them based off of what I'm feeling, and you know, a lot of times I do it just because I'm going somewhere. We've been this place a lot of times, and people haven't seen this particular burger, so I'm gonna put that one on there. You know, this last week we did one. I just came up with it. It was a tomato basil burger. I took 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, which is 4 pieces of bread, grilled cheese. I made a homemade tomato basil spread, put it on the grilled cheese with a burger and more cheese, and I wanted it to taste like tomato basil soup with the grilled cheese. That's what it was, and it was a burger. And man, people they loved it, you know. So, and then they go, when can I catch that one again? Stay tuned to find out. I'll announce it. You know, it's not going to be on there every week. So I try to give people a reason to come out. Hey, I haven't tried that one. Let me come out and try that one.
So people need to follow your Facebook page. Is
Yes.
that where your schedule every week?
Yes. Food Freaks of NC Facebook page.
Do you have a menu of your stuff on that page?
There is a menu. Yep. You can click on it, and there's a menu on that page. Yep.
I'll tell you one thing that I figured out real early about any of your burgers. Because you're right, there's some things that I've seen on the menu going, you put that on a burger? Really?
Right.
But I know you have good taste. And if you put it on a burger, you've already tasted this and went, damn, that's good. I think I'm going to serve that now.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people don't realize the amount of time they see me set up from 11 to 2 and think, oh, it's 3 hours. They don't see the hours among hours I put in creating, thinking, and you got to be real careful. A lot of people will go to a search engine like Google or something. I try to stay away from the internet. I try to stay away from other restaurants. I try not to worry about what everybody else is doing. I don't want to see it. I want, if I come up with something, it to be something that I thought of, and maybe someone else is doing it, but I haven't seen them do it. I want to do my version of it, you know. And so I had someone comment on my last post about the grilled cheese. They posted a picture that you're almost there. Apparently someone already does 2 grilled cheeses with a burger. That's fine. I didn't look at theirs, don't know what they do to theirs, don't know what they put on it. I did mine the way I wanted to, and what tastes, you know, I thought the flavors went well together.
Yeah.
The Wild Mexi sounds good.
The Wild Mexi is fantastic. Yep, my favorite burger.
Andouille sausage, fresh jalapenos, and Munster cheese served with sriracha chili mayo.
Yes. And that is actually the one I used to do at tailgating games. I would take and stuff it inside the burger, chop up all that sausage and fresh jalapenos, and oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Ray, what's your favorite burger there?
Actually, my current favorite's the shroom. Love the shroom. I'm a big fan of portobello.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, this weekend, my wife and I had gotten a pair of fillets on sale. I was like, all right, I'm going to fix these. Got some portobello mushrooms, marinated them and cooked them in a little bit of red wine and some bacon jam. Let me tell you, those turned out so good with the bacon jam in there.
We put a little bit of tamarind in ours too. It's kind of a fruit base, a little sweet. Adds a nice little sweetness to that Worcestershire marinade. So, yep.
So one of the things that came up right before Christmas is you were selling these jams.
Yes.
Are we going to see those available to the public?
Possibly. I would have to go through North Carolina Department of Agriculture to make that legit and get labels on them. I did it just as a specialty item, for Christmas gifts. It's a possibility one day, maybe. Who knows? I got a lot of things that I've worked on over the past 6 years that, I've got a brand and I just need to figure out a way to capitalize on it. And that's what I'm doing.
And if you did that too, you'd have to find someone to probably do your canning or jarring for you, because that would be way too much
to do off a food truck. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I will say I got several sets and gave those out as gifts for Christmas. And everyone that got it is like, okay, where do I get this? Which store has this? I'm like, no, you got to talk to me. Because both of them were out of state. I sent them to my parents. And they were like, this is just amazing stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm reading the description, but I want to hear your explanation of a pickle dog.
The pickle dog is the first item I had on my menu. It was before burgers, and I'll be honest, where I got the idea was a friend of mine was talking about a pickle dog at the Ohio State Fair, and they took a piece of ham, boiled ham with plain cream cheese, rolled a pickle up, served it cold with a pickled jalapeno on top. And I thought, I live in the South. We fry everything. I said, and I'm a real big fan of Reuben sandwiches. So I took a piece of pastrami, and I make a homemade cheese spread that goes on there. It's basically cream cheese, and I add some ingredients to it.
Sure.
Some of it, we add some wine, some mustard, some chili powder, just several things, and we mix that up. We rub that down on the piece of pastrami. We take a dill pickle spear, we roll it up, and then I make a tempura batter. It's a chili tempura batter. And we dip it in that batter, flash fry it, kind of melts the cream cheese, heats up the meat, keeps the pickle crisp though. We don't want the pickle cooked because we don't want it like rubber.
Yeah.
And then we make a homemade mustard sauce that everybody absolutely loves.
Sweet chili mustard.
It's a sweet chili mustard sauce, and it's really good. And you dip it in there, and it's almost like eating a Reuben, but it's a flavor you'll remember when you eat it. It's very good.
So, you are available for special events.
Yep. We cater weddings, special events. Yep.
How much notice do you need for those usually?
Normally we need at least 3 months, if not more. The food truck industry's gotten a little competitive now. There are a lot of food trucks, and so what we're finding out is you're having to book. We're one of the grandfather food trucks in the area. We've been around quite a while. Food truck scene is just picking up here with all these breweries, so you have to book well in advance. My wife is way more organized than I am. She does all the booking, and she's already booking into fall and winter this year. So it takes some time. It's a good problem to have, but it's also discouraging because there's so many places and people that reach out to you, and you've already booked somewhere because you just feel like you had to get it on the calendar, and then these other things pop up, and you're like, well, we can't get there. Yeah. We're already booked.
Yeah.
You almost need to have a clone of you out there.
Yeah.
Was that a thought that had occurred to you before?
No, I wouldn't want someone like me out there. One of me is enough in this world. But no, they have another food truck.
Have a second.
We have the 2 food trucks. One of them is a bus, one's a trailer. The trailer's a little more reliable right now, but the problem is not getting another food truck. The problem is finding someone to cook the food the way I wanted it.
Yeah, it's tough when you've been the one making all of these burgers personally.
And another thing people don't realize is our potatoes, we don't take our potatoes and run them through a slicer and call it hand-cut fries. We take a peeler, and we take our hand, and we peel the potato one by one, and then we cut it with a knife on a cutting board. And it's easy to talk about that, but when you get up on the food truck and you do 100 pounds of potatoes a day, peeling and cutting, you learn real quick that that's a labor.
It's work.
Intensive.
You get somebody fresh out of the military to do that for you. Because, they love that.
Yeah, the freaky fries are absolutely astounding and just an amazing flavor profile. Again, it's stuff that I looked at it on the menu and went, what the hell is that? I thought, all right, I'm going to try it. I'm like, yes, I want this again. I want more. Because once you've had it, you recognize just how good it is.
Yep, and the apple rings.
Oh, man, I love the apple rings.
So, again, I'm reading it, but I want to hear you talk about the Mama's Jammin' Fig.
Oh, yeah. I called it Mama's Jammin' because of my mom. Growing up, my mom used to eat like a sausage sandwich with fig jam on it.
Okay.
And so I said, gosh, I got to create a burger with this. And so I like a little bit of heat. So I make homemade fig jam with jalapenos, fresh jalapenos in there. We do not cook the jalapenos to keep them fresh, keep them hot. We fry an egg, and we put sage sausage in the egg. Put that on the burger with Munster cheese, and we put that fig jam on there. And it's a flavor combination you can't describe. You have to taste it. And I'll tell you, people who've tasted it. I mean, I've even the girl that works for me, Mia, that runs the window. She doesn't even like figs. She hates jalapenos, and that's her favorite burger. And the only way she'll eat it is in that burger. She can't eat fig jam separate. She don't like jalapenos. She hates spicy stuff, but it's that real good sweet heat. And there's something about that with the sage and the sausage and the egg that just. And people think it's a sausage burger. It's a beef burger. It is a 80-20 Angus beef burger, fresh, that we roll out every day. And it's a phenomenal burger. I hate to say it's not my favorite because the Wild Mexi's still my favorite, but the Mama's Jammin's up there. Yep.
Are there any other ones on this menu that you just have there because the fans like?
Yep.
And not your thing?
Yep.
Which one?
The Rhythm and Blue. I cannot stand blue cheese.
Oh, I love blue cheese.
The Puff Minto. I do not like pimento cheese on my burger. Yep, I put them up there.
I agree
because,
with both of those, actually.
Yep, the fans.
We're both sick men.
Yes.
My wife's favorite burger is the Rhythm and Blue. My wife's a big blue cheese fan. Actually, that's probably one of the few burgers I actually have never tried just because I hate blue cheese, but I made my wife be the guinea pig for that, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. So it's on the menu.
Well, it sounds delicious.
The bacon jam really sets that off because you got the texture difference in the bacon jam, the crispiness and the sweetness from it, and then you get a little bit of heat from the sriracha and that sharp flavor from the blue cheese. People love it. It's just not my cup of tea.
Well, it's knowing your audience too.
Yep.
So, if people are looking to follow you, what's the best way of doing so?
The best way is just to like our page, Food Freaks of NC food truck page. Even if you don't like Facebook, I know I'm not a big fan of social media, but it's a really necessary thing in business today. It's free advertisement. And so we list our schedule every Monday or Tuesday. As a matter of fact, we'll be putting it up either tonight or tomorrow morning. And then when we list it up there, we share it on our page and people see it and they find out where we're going to be. And they find a location they can get to and they come see us. Yep.
One of the things that strikes me, because I follow that because I want to see when you're going to be close again, is how far out you go. You've got a big territory that you cover.
We do. We don't spend too much time in Greensboro. We spend most of our time in Winston. And then we do a little bit in our hometown of Davie County as well. And we do some in Cornelius, Huntersville. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of fortunate where I live is, I can be in Winston in 35-40 minutes, and I can be in Charlotte in 35 or 40 minutes. So yeah. I'm in a really good location to get, and not be too far away, so I can always get back. So
yeah.
Yep.
I'm going through it where I'm liking your page from all of my pages.
Get all those different likes in there.
Yeah.
So
for one, it'll drive your likes up, but two, it'll also make sure that I see stuff because I have so much stuff going on my page. Sometimes I miss the good stuff. So you probably are going to end up with like 9 new likes.
I'm good.
All from me.
So what's on the horizon for Food Freaks?
We would like to expand at some point. It's a family-owned business. We have 4 kids at home, and it makes it tough sometimes to have quality family time when you're in the restaurant business, especially food trucks. But we've we've had a couple of conversations with a reality show. The Food Network is supposed to come down here they have a new, I think it's called Food Truck World or Food Truck something, on the Cooking Channel Food Network. They contacted us last year. They're interested in coming down this year. We've had some interest from Shark Tank. We haven't committed to anything yet. But we just want to be careful not to grow too fast. We tried the restaurant, it was well for a year. We just didn't have the indoor seating, so we stuck with the food truck. It's an uphill battle for sure. But
that location wasn't your best choice, just because you said there's no place to sit.
The seating was a challenge. A beautiful building, but the seating's just been a challenge, and I think it's been that way for any restaurant that's been there.
That's what Ray and I have talked about before, and I talked about you a little bit in our pregame. Is I just think the thing needs to be raised and something new put there. I think the location is good.
Right.
I just think
physical structure that's there.
The actual building itself is just weird.
There's plenty of kitchen, but where's your dining room?
Right. There's plenty of kitchen.
So a day when it's cold or it's wet, you're screwed because people are not going to come.
Yeah, and I had people call me at 9:30 at night complaining because they got bit by a mosquito, or I'm like, well, you're in North Carolina in August. I can't really control
any
that.
place.
Right, that was my pet mosquito that I sent to attack you. In fact, I'm sending all of them to your house.
Yeah. That's silly. It's like someone complaining about a resort because it rained the whole time.
Right.
You
can't control
that. I mean, anywhere you go that has outdoor seating,
you're gonna have
flies, mosquitoes, wind, people.
Right.
Things happen. So birds, just people are dumb.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So
that's exciting that you've got the reality shows talking to you.
Yeah, we actually 2016 were in conversations with the casting producers for Shark Tank, and that's when we decided to go the restaurant route instead. We decided, hey, we'll grow it on our own. We're not going to put our family through the publicity of being on national TV. But we've revisited that since then. Now that we're back down, just to the food trucks. The other thing is, and I think it's going to catch on here soon in Winston, is if you go to Charlotte, it's hard to book some of these breweries now because they have a permanent food truck. And so we are thinking real strong about becoming a permanent food truck at the Brewers Kettle in Kernersville, where we would be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And on Thursday and Friday, we'd do lunch and dinner. And on Wednesday and Saturdays, it would just be dinner. And then Sunday would be a brunch. If we do that, and we're leaning real strong towards it, the gentleman that owns Brewers Kettle's agreed to it, we would probably start that March or April, and we would have one of our food trucks go there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It would have to go every day, but it would pretty much be parked there during the day. We'll leave at night, come back the next day. We wouldn't have to worry about scheduling it out, because chasing these schedules is going to be really difficult. And then my other food truck, I would keep it hopping, to keep the other communities and other locations happy as best I could. Definitely not going to rule out a restaurant again. Some people have been in the restaurant business, have gone into the food truck business, wishing they'd just stayed in the restaurant business. And then you've had food trucks that have gone from food truck to restaurant, and now they don't do a food truck anymore. So you can talk about that all day and never get a true answer on which one's better, which one's worse. I think they're both tough for different reasons. But I think volume-wise, you just turn more volume in a restaurant. You have more overhead. But if you have the volume, you can handle the overhead. So,
well, in a restaurant too, you can service several people at once, whereas
right.
Food truck, basically, it's a one person at a time deal. Right. Even if you have 2 or 3 things going, you still can only handle really one order at a time.
Right.
Well, in a restaurant, you've got multiple cooks, and you can oversee everything that they're doing.
Right.
So you could.
Yeah, and I feel like our restaurant, we had it open for a year. The quality of food didn't suffer. I had some excellent employees, excellent cooks. They all worked their tails off, and no complaints there. It was just the seating. That was it.
Well, if you set up something like you're saying as a kind of a permanent food truck scenario,
Right.
Then you're able to talk to potential staff and chefs to say, all right, I've got a gig for you
And
5 days a
right,
week.
and you can go there every day. It is there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not an issue of do I have enough work for you? I got plenty of work.
Right. Yep.
I think one of the problems that I don't have this necessarily, but I know some of my friends do, is say, I don't want to go stand in line for an hour for something I'm going to pay exorbitant amount of money for and it not be as good as if I was going to go sit down someplace. When's the last time you've been to a food truck? Because food trucks around here don't make it if they don't give you good food. Standing in line can be a problem. I get that. I mean, this lobster dog thing that people are standing in line for an hour and a half just for a lobster roll. Come on.
I'm sorry. I'm allergic to lobster, so I hate it for them, but I'm not going to try it.
No, I don't understand that. But, you know, I go to the Burke Street Food Truck Festival, you know, and every truck has a line because there's 3,000, 4,000 people there.
Right.
It's the nature of that type of food.
I get it. If you don't like that, stay away from the food truck festival. But if you do like that stuff, you know, go on. But I have no problem with that. I just see where it creates contention with people who just don't get it. But I don't agree with the quality part because, like I said, these days, because food truck competition around here is so strong, that you have to crank out good stuff. You're not going to get by with half-ass food.
No,
you won't be asked back.
There's a lot of good food trucks out there that are putting out quality food. And if you're going to a food truck that's putting out quality food and it's a place where there's a lot of people, you're going to expect to wait. You know, we had people at I'm not going to say the venue, but we were in an event and they were waiting 45 minutes. And a guy come up and he had been waiting about 40 minutes and he said, how long does it take to cook a freaking burger? Like 5-10 minutes? And I said, it does for one person. I said, but you got in line behind 70 people. So your food isn't going to be ready in 5 minutes. I said, it's no different than the 250 people that are here. Imagine y'all, all 250 got in a big limo and drove to one restaurant and wanted 250 people to be seated and served in 5 minutes. It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's no different for us. There's over 250 people out here. You've got in line behind over 40 or 50 people. We're no different in a restaurant. I'm cooking food as you order it. I'm not pulling it off of Walmart. I'm not stuffing a bun with something that's been sitting there for 4 hours. I'm cooking it when you order it. It takes time. And so, you know, but most of the time what happens is, and even in this case, I come back and said, you know what, it's worth the wait. And I'd wait again. So, and that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
You're right. You could cook all the burgers and have all the stuffing just sitting there ready to go. But it's not going to taste the same.
Right, takes away from the quality.
Yeah, it really does. I remember seeing somebody's review. This was a couple of years ago. Their burgers they're messy and they're greasy. I'm yes, they are, and that's part of the beauty of it on both counts. That it's messy and it's greasy.
Yeah, you don't want to take it out and go because it's hard and the grease is just coagulated around it and stuff. Yeah. No, that's crazy.
Yeah, these are sloppy, and that's wonderful because it's so good that way.
Well, on this show, we have talked about wanting to come up with some kind of food truck, I don't know, directory, because there are things like that, but something that's more personal, I think. I don't want to take away from the fact that you are our guest and we're talking about food freaks, but are there any other food trucks that you personally like that you actually go to, or do you ever get a chance to see them?
Getting a chance is hard because I'm normally running the same time they are.
Right.
And so you don't really get that opportunity. And then you go to these big events like Burke Street and places like that, and you see all these food trucks and you really want to try them, but your time is limited again. But there are some trucks that I have. Urban Street, if you've never had a chance to try his food, is phenomenal. Eric, the guy that's behind the scenes there, he does a fantastic job. Zico's To Go is an amazing truck. The food is always quality. I don't leave people out that I know, but Wings and Fins.
What do they do? I guess fish and wings.
We have fish and wings. He's really good wings. He's got a really good sauce for that. There's so many good ones out there. Don Juan's, which is a restaurant in Kernersville, I didn't even know about Don Juan, so they had the food truck. You know, it was kind of crazy. They've been there for 20 years. Food is phenomenal. I mean, there's just so many of them out there that are really good. People are missing out if they're not trying their food, because there's one guy, it's called the Smash Truck. He runs a lot up in Cornelius, and he does grilled cheeses, but he does gourmet grilled cheeses, and I'm telling you, best food grilled cheese. I mean, it's amazing. I can't even describe what this guy's doing. He takes grilled cheese to another level. It's really, you would think, well, what can you do to a grilled cheese? This guy's doing it. I mean, it is amazing stuff. So
one that I've always loved, and they're not from around here, so it's not like competition to you or anything, but I mean, they are when they're in the festivals and whenever. But Baguette About It, I love Baguette About It. It's baguettes.
Yep.
That they have these spikes that they spike the baguettes, and they're long baguettes. They're probably 1.5 feet, 2 feet long.
Wow.
They spike those and then stuff them with sausage and peppers and all kinds of stuff. And it's just a great concept, and it was a great truck. So anytime I see them around, I try to get something from them. But if my wife or our friends are out there, we try to go to several trucks. But, you know, if you want to go to a festival with somebody, then it's hard if you're... Because you will be standing in line at different intervals and different spots in the festival.
And I haven't heard they're doing Burke Street this year, I don't think. I haven't heard anything on it.
Okay.
Burke Street used to be a big deal. You know, for local trucks, it's become kind of difficult. And, you know, Winston allows trucks from everywhere, Raleigh, Durham, wherever. But if I try to go to Raleigh, I can't because I'm too far out. Raleigh won't allow me in. So what happens is these big rodeos, these other trucks are coming in, and people are not going to go to your local trucks. They're going to go to trucks they normally can't get.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're going to go to some of the trucks that are here as guest trucks. And so, you know, for some of these local trucks, they're starting to hurt a little bit at some of these big festivals because people are going, they can't say, oh, well, it's Food Freaks, I can get them anytime. They're in Winston 3-4 times a week. This truck, the Chubba truck, I don't see them. I'm going to go to them. Or, you know, Cousins Maine Lobster, who was also on Shark Tank, I'm going to go to them. You know, that's where this Lobster Dogs is coming. You know, Cousins Maine Lobster was a big time truck, and they've got tons of them now. Just about in every big city around.
I would say probably, you're saying 5 years ago is when the truck started. You didn't have nearly the competition that you've got out there now.
I had none. There was no such thing. There was no Wise Man. There was no Fiddle and Fish. There was none of these places. All these places came in after. It was a tough scene 6 years ago. Yeah.
Just finding a place to set up.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember the place I'm talking about, Brewer's Kettle. That was the first bottle shop I ever set up at, and I did 15 tickets my first night in the backyard, and I was, you know, singing praises. Oh my goodness, I did $150. It's fantastic. It was me by myself, you know. But today it's a different ball game for food trucks. It's a different ball game.
So an average night is how many tickets now?
Probably 65, 70 tickets. Yeah.
It's a lot more work on you.
It's a lot more work. You know, I've got 2 employees that, you know, they're solid and they stick with me. And food truck life is not an easy way to make a living. So for them to stand by for over a year now has been pretty impressive. So,
well, the other night you set up over at Fiddle and Fish, and I watched y'all come in and set up. And you're right, they knew exactly what they were doing. They were on their rhythm, and it's like, just get out of my way. So I got work to do.
Yep. Well, and you've been around me long enough to know that I run a tight ship. It's hard sometimes working for me. Honestly, I wouldn't want to work for me. So for them to put up with me, I'm very tough. I'm very confident in what I do, and you better not screw up. And they know it. So they don't. They don't.
They're those quality folks.
They're on point. Yep. They know what they're doing, and they know what I expect, and they do it.
Y'all got it down to a well-oiled machine right now.
Very is. You're right. It really is. For us 3, it's a well-oiled machine. Has to be to do what we do.
Yeah. Well, to watch y'all come in, back the trailer in, get set up, and start cooking, and people are eating in less than half an hour, I was like, ooh,
yeah.
They are on their top game tonight.
Yep. And a lot of that's prepping on the fly too. You know, we're still peeling and cutting potatoes and cook. I mean, we're going to it. It's not easy, but anything worth having never is.
Yeah.
You know? one of the things I used to tell people is I'm not the smartest person, but I will outwork anybody. No, I was raised that way. I was raised from a different cut of thread, and I was always taught if it is to be, it is up to me. And so I'm 46 years old, and I got kids that are trying to work for me 20, 23 years old that can't last a week. So it's funny.
They don't know what hard work is.
They do when they work up there for a week.
Yeah. We go find an easy job somewhere.
So, Brandon, do you have anything else you want the listeners to know about Food Freaks, or you, or anything before we cut the interview down?
You know, I just tell them to go out and support your local food trucks and your local restaurants. You know, I'm not here to bash chains, but you have lots of chain restaurants that you can get anywhere. Mm-hmm. These local guys, they're family-owned, family businesses, and it's a lot on us, and it's a lot to provide what we provide. And you know, I'm not always the nicest person on my food truck, which is why I don't run the window. I've had people get aggravated with me, and I'm not afraid to put them in their place. I've had people give me bad reviews, and I'm not afraid to challenge them, because at the end of the day, they're hurting my family when they do something like that. They don't realize it. So what I would tell, I would really like people need to understand food trucks, and they don't right now. These
it's
food
still
trucks
a novelty to them.
It's still a novelty, and these food trucks out there today, these people are busting their tails to make things happen, and they're serving top-notch quality food. Not just us, but a lot of food trucks. Mm-hmm. And we would ask people, you know, come out for the experience. A food truck is an experience. It should be an experience where you get to walk up to something, you get to see the people cooking your food. You should anyway. You can see it in ours. You can watch me cook your burger all day. Yep. You can see me change my gloves out. You can see what we do to keep things clean. You can actually, how many kitchens do you go to here where you can stand there at the kitchen and watch them cook? You don't see that. You know, food trucks give you that. These are the people washing your dishes, prepping your food, making your food, serving your food. We're doing everything. Give us a chance making an experience. And if it's a long wait, understand it's probably because it's good food.
Yeah. And you're being held to the same standards that the restaurants are.
Absolutely.
And you said you didn't want to bash the chains. We'll take
We'll
over
do
that for you.
Yeah.
We love bashing the chains.
There's no excuse in this town to have to go to a chain, because they were saying, well, you know what you want at a chain, that you can get the exact same thing but better at a local place.
Better food.
You don't need a chain.
Better ingredients, and you're keeping your money in your own community.
Yes.
Yeah, that money is not going that you spend at your local places is not going to St. Louis to the headquarters of this chain.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's correct.
You know, I met you over at Fiddlin' Fish, had dinner for the family. I know where my money was going, and yeah, makes me feel good about it. On top of the fact that they were freaking awesome burgers. And it was nice in that scenario is that I could pair that with a great beer from Fiddlin' Fish. Yep. You know, the next time I see it, it'll be in a different venue, and it's like, all right, it'll be a new experience.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Brandon, thank you so much for the good work that you do, the fantastic food that you do, and for taking the time to stop by here after pulling your employee out of the mud to talk with us on our little podcast that could. So
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Brandon Cassidy of Food Freaks Food Truck NC for coming by and talking about it. Again, kind of disappointed we didn't have any burgers to taste, but you can't make those pre and then bring them, and they wouldn't be the same.
They really need to be consumed within a few minutes of the time he finished cooking them.
I completely understand that. He could have wheeled the damn truck by.
He could have come by with the we
totally
could have had
kidding.
burgers.
This is totally.
He could have brought the apple crisps. That would have been good too. Those are really tasty. Yeah.
Nice.
It's all good.
All right, so now it's time for our trivial, meaningless holidays section, which actually some this week I'm actually into. So let's start today, the 25th.
Okay.
National Chocolate Covered Peanuts Day.
I'm good with that one.
National Clam Chowder Day.
I'm mostly good with that one.
Yeah.
Now, is the chocolate-covered peanuts, does they have the hard candy shell?
They could. I guess M&M's would count, right?
It would.
Because they are chocolate-covered peanuts.
They are.
Even the candy is chocolate-ish.
Yeah. But now, what's your favorite M&M? Is it the peanut version?
Oh, yeah.
It's not the almond? Or the chocolate?
I'm not a fan of almonds anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so almonds, I mean, I like them in my Hershey bars, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I would just as soon have peanuts. Peanuts are my favorite nut. I will eat the just regular chocolate ones, the M&Ms with nothing in it.
Right. I like those too.
I've not had any of the other specialty ones because I'm like, peanuts good for me. Just give me that.
Oh, I've had a bunch. Now, the pretzel ones are okay. The crisp ones, now those were good. The caramel are okay.
You're hired.
I've had some fun eating M&Ms.
My sister is a big fan of M&Ms, and she gets a lot of M&M things.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like to take the regular M&Ms, just the chocolate, and mix that with Reese's Pieces, so you get the chocolate and the peanut butter flavor. Yeah.
You mixed it. All right, the 26th, we didn't have any really things happening on the 25th. So on the 26th, it's National Pistachio Day.
Oh, I like pistachios.
I like them. They're not my favorite nut again, but it's okay. And it's National Personal Chef's Day.
Oh.
That's both the 26th and the 16th of July.
They get 2 days?
They get 2 days.
Greedy
bastards. But so the personal chef, unlike, chefs, that these are the people who actually go in and cook for people, not for
at
restaurants.
Their home.
Yeah.
So I'm a personal chef. I go home, I cook dinner. I am now a personal chef.
You're your own personal chef.
I am my own personal chef. I'm not coming to your house and preparing your meal.
I fathered my personal chef.
There you go. And a good one at that.
Yeah, he is. In 1852, John Harvey Kellogg was born. We talk a lot about Kellogg's in this
Yeah,
show,
because they do a lot of stuff.
He was a surgeon, a vegetarian, and a health food pioneer while superintendent at the Battle Creek Sanitarium. He developed the first breakfast cereals for his patients, granose, which was flaked wheat, and toasted cornflakes. His brother, William K., who we talked about last week, founded the Battle Creek Toasted Cornflake Company to produce cornflakes to sell to the public, but it was John's recipes. This story...
That he tried out on the crazy people first.
Yes. Here you go, you nut. Let's have this. So this story is loosely followed in the film The Road to Wellville, starring Matthew Broderick, Bridget Fonda, and Anthony Hopkins as Dr. Kellogg. It's a comedy. It's an offbeat comedy. It's weird. I liked it. It didn't do very well in the theaters.
It's weird, so you would like it.
Yeah, I did like it. And you have to understand that it's meant as comedy, not as a serious biopic.
Right.
On the 27th, another day that I can get in behind, National Kahlua Day.
Oh, yeah.
And National Strawberry Day.
I'm behind both of those. Yep.
Yes. Put strawberries in your Kahlua. Dip them.
Chocolate or coffee and strawberries?
Yeah.
You've tried that.
Why wouldn't you?
Because I've never done that.
Would you put a strawberry in a White Russian?
Personally, no.
Why?
Because the fruit and the coffee are not two flavors that I want to put together.
Why?
I just don't think of them going together.
Well, we heard from Brandon at Food Freaks. Sometimes you got to look outside.
Sometimes you got to try something new.
You think that we're going there.
Like, I don't know if that's going to work. Let's try it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about Willow's Bistro. Is what I tell people when they go in there, look at the special board. Find what looks like it would not work and order it.
Because it does.
Because it does.
He wouldn't have put it on the board if he hadn't tested it already.
Right on. The 28th is National Chili Day and National Chocolate Souffle Day.
So is that National Cook-Off Day?
National Chocolate Souffle Day. Shh. Is that the thing that falls if you're too loud?
Yeah, too loud.
Yeah. I don't know how that works, but okay.
It's that delicate.
Oh, okay.
You and I are not used to things so delicate.
Well, my wife, your wife,
Well, yes, they are delicate flowers.
they are.
They
Pick them every week.
So they might bristle at the idea of being a delicate flower.
Yeah.
Because they're also very strong women.
Yes, they are. What Stephanie told me, I am curiously strong. I said, you're like an Altoid. She goes, whatever.
That's exactly right.
In 2006, on the 28th, Chicago's oldest restaurant, the 107-year-old Berghoff restaurant, closed.
Oh,
It reorganized and reopened again the next year in 2007. So,
but then they had to start the clock over again.
I guess. Seems like it's according to how long in 2007. Maybe if they held the lease. Say
Maybe.
It may have closed, but it's always been here.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just picking at straws now. I don't know. All right. The 1st of March is National Pig Day. And here you go. Ready? It's National Horse Protection Day.
Horses need protecting?
I guess. It's also World Horse Day, but
World Horse Day.
it's, for me, National Peanut Butter Lovers Day.
Yes.
National Fruit Compote Day.
Sounds good.
In 1989, a 75-year-long ban on beer was lifted in Iceland.
Well, it's a long dry spell.
It is, especially in Iceland.
Yeah.
I mean, they eat freaking pickled shark fins. I mean,
You need a beer to wash that down.
Yeah,
You need 2 beers to wash that down.
Heck yeah. The 2nd of March is National Banana Cream Pie Day. And on that day in 1787, William Bass died. He was an English brewer, founder of Bass Brewery in 1777 in Burton-on-Trent. The 3rd of March is National Mulled Wine Day. Not white wine, but mulled wine Day. And National Cold Cuts Day.
We need a day for just cold cuts.
Today is the day, boys. We have picked today, the 3rd of March, is National Cold Cuts Day.
And we want it to happen in the same week with the banana cream pie.
Yes, my baloney has a first name.
It's OSCAR.
My baloney has a last name.
OMAYER. Oh, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I'll say, because Oscar Mayer has a way with BOLOGNA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, why the country guy's the one saying all this, I don't know.
Oh, no. It's just natural.
It does seem
It
natural,
just comes
bologna and
natural.
country together.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your food holidays and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ehler for allowing us to
Thanks,
laugh
James.
at the things that people want to make special holidays of. The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with the podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Department 5B. You can find all those podcasts and their latest episode on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. We greatly appreciate you visiting our sponsors, Delicio's Italian Restaurant at 301 Brookstown Avenue. Not like my mother, Italian restaurant. Delicio's is the go-to Italian restaurant in town. Tony carefully prepares dishes from his native Napoli. Hearty and delicious dishes that whisk you away and makes you think you're sitting there in Naples in southern Italy. They have now, I believe it's 8 taps.
8?
Beer taps, I think. And they have an extensive wine list as well. They're open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Check them out on Instagram, Facebook, and delicios.com.
Check them out.
They will have a new logo coming
Really?
soon. Our friend Stallone is working with them.
Nice.
So,
Stallone is on the move again.
yes, he is. I got them hooked up. I said, you got to talk to this guy. They said, we need something. There you
Perfect.
go.
Perfect. The time is right. So I guess they're feeling like it's time to refresh the brand image a little bit.
I think so.
Good.
And
Well, they've just finished some renovations in the restaurant itself. Kind of makes sense.
amen. Washington Perkin Provision Company, where I had lunch today.
Today, you
today.
had lunch today.
Yes, I had to stop by the Downtown Winston-Salem Partnership, and I'm going to again here in a few minutes. Located at 301 West 4th Street. While you're in there getting your Wolfie's custard, or like I did, get a sandwich and some. I got Taco Bell hot sauce flavored tortilla chips.
Where else are you going to find something like that but at Washington Park? Because they have a whole chip wall.
Yes, they do, and they even have them stacked on the counter and everything now too. So
Nice.
they're moving on up
To the east side.
or
Well, to the downtown side.
To the downtown side. Got your Homeland Creamery, your cup of Larry's Beans, coffee, chips, peanut butter, bread, napkins, hot sauce, and so on. They have a beer and wine wall. There you go. They're better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. Again, 301 West 4th Street, Facebook, Washington Perk, Instagram, Washington Perk _DTWS. The Humblebee shop is located at 1003. It's all 3 zeros and ones.
What is that? Is it a prerequisite to be a sponsor? You've got to have 1 zeros or 3s in your number?
I think it's funny that they're probably, if you just go down the streets, they're all at the corner.
True.
Yeah. Because I know people who do stuff in 301 North Main Street, which is the Winston Tower. So there's a lot of 301s. Consistency, I guess.
And you've tapped into that.
Yeah,
That's your vibe.
it is my vibe.
You're a 301 vibe.
And 301 feels. Yeah, so Humblebee Shop 1003 Brookstown Avenue. They're over in West End. Visit for cookies, cakes, pies, and other dessert goodies made just for you.
Oh my God, they're so good.
If you need vegan or gluten-free, she does that too.
Amazingly well.
Everything is carefully crafted and made 100% from scratch. The Humblebee Shop wants to challenge your perception of scratch made and leave you with an experience you can't, couldn't, won't, wouldn't possibly forget. For more information, follow them on Facebook and Instagram or visit thehumblebeeshop.co. That's SHOPPE.co.
If you look at that Instagram account with the pictures of what she's already made and you don't get in the car and go down there, check your pulse.
Yes. Someone needs to whack you in the knee with a rubber mallet or something. Just see if you're still alive.
Yeah, you must not be living, because once you see those, you're like, how have I missed out on this?
So once again, we want to thank Brandon Cassidy from Food Freaks Trucks,
Thank you, Brandon.
Food Truck of NC, for being in here with us today. Keep an eye on the blog and this podcast to find out more about food news and happenings around town. If you have food news, send us an email just like Tim did.
Yes, let us know.
Tim at themanawaitstotown.com or on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Instant Messengers. I'm there. I'm available. You hunt me down. I will find you. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man8the Town. On Instagram, we are Man8the Town. My name is Tim.
My name is Ray.
And we're closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.